I am the living legend of hair loss, the true alpha male. I rule the kingdom of hair loss. Let's get to work. Let's check out this comment here today. While I'm wearing this shirt, I'm just filming non-stop responses to comments because that's what people want to watch. People want to watch me talk about hair loss. What you don't want to watch is me sing and play guitar, especially songs I've written with my wife. Free market doesn't want that. Free market wants hair loss, hair loss, hair loss. I'm in a stadium. Hair loss, hair loss. And then I come out, I'm like, I've got a receding hairline. Woo! All right, let's get to work. Next random comment as I'm just hitting record and responding. Hey, this is fun. Thanks for the comment, by the way. I made a video called Growing Receding Hairline Crew Cut into Flat Top for 2020. And Clausig 85, let's go with that, said, quote, "You're very well for your age 38. You're Norwood too." And then which I responded, "Thank you. I will make a video response based on your comment. This is it." And then he replied, "Nick, I'm honored," smiley face. "Where are you from, Nick? I follow you from Rome, Italy." Hey, there we go. That's cool. And in case you're new to this channel, like our friend Classic 85, it's easier for me to say Classic 85. Can I say that? Classic 85? Because I don't know what the screen name is supposed to be. You follow me from Rome, Italy. Do I look like people you know there in Italy? Because it is true that a quarter of my ancestry goes back to Italy. And actually, my great-grandfather got here about 100 years ago. And even when he died in 1983, like, he apparently hardly spoke any English, because I don't think my mom could really carry on any conversations with him. That's how truly Italian he was. So yes, we have that in common. We are distant cousins. In fact, my mom's maiden name is Metello, like the word metal with L-O at the end, Metello. And then her grandmother's maiden name was Veit, which there's rumor that that's actually a Jewish name. And the DNA test actually shows that my mom is 15.2% Sephardic Jewish, and then 14.1% West Asian, which is more like Iran, Iraq, you know, all kind of that part of what we consider the Middle East. So it's one thing to look at your heritage, where you came from, and then another one, your actual DNA based on the test, which, you know, Italy is a melting pot. There's so much history there. There's so much crosswords going through there that, you know, and I have another channel called Family Friendly Daddy Blog, where I actually talk about that with Italy, where it's rare for anybody to take a DNA test and it show 100% Italian, because Italian ultimately is a mix. That's what it is. It's a mix of European, Jewish, Middle Eastern. That's ultimately what Italian is. So yeah, thank you for watching all the way from Italy. That's really cool. You know, so you're living in part of my homeland, which actually they were from a place called Cesena, is where they moved from, is in southern Italy, apparently. Cesena, if I believe. All right, the comment, you're very well for age 38, you're Norwood too. All right, thank you, by the way. And we really just, I feel like I need to make videos to remind everybody of this. Okay, it's almost the comedy of it. Most of my viewers are young, late teens, early 20s, maybe even late 20s. They don't know if they're going to go bald anytime soon. That's part of the paradox, is that the younger you are, the more years ahead of you have that you could go bald. Whereas if you're 38, well, you're almost 40 at this point. So what is it? And I'm actually older than 38 and a half. I mean, I'm that much closer to 40. So that's part of the paradox, is that the more years that go by that you don't go bald, then on top of that, the less you care anyway, because after you hit 35, you stop caring about a lot of stuff that you used to care about, because by then you figured out your identity as a man. So let's just take a look at the chart. He's saying Norwood 2. I definitely feel Norwood 2.5. But he's saying that this is what I'm going to try to get this somewhat proportionate if I move this up. Well, it'll get things blurry. But anyway, look at my hairline. He's saying Norwood 2. Thing is, Norwood 2, if I were to do this would be straight in essence. And there's really no part of my hairline that's straight at this point. So that's why see, but Norwood 3 is completely rounded, and mine's not rounded. Mine has a V. Mine's pointed. So that's why I tell everybody between 2 and 3 is ultimately my Norwood. And then, of course, the temples matter too. A true Norwood 3, if I were to turn sideways, which I just did, then we're talking about the temples going all the way back to basically the start of the ear. And I just don't think that my temples go back far enough either for a Norwood 3. I think I'm a perfect Norwood 2.5. And yes, my hair is thinner on top, and when my hair is short and growing out, it's more obvious depending on how I have my hairstyle. But if my hair is longer, to most people it wouldn't be detected. So yeah, I mean, I want everybody to determine for yourself what you think I am. But ultimately, I'm saying Norwood 2.5 at age 30, almost 40. And that's the main thing. And it's funny because a lot of younger guys will because a lot of people, what they're doing is they're projecting their insecurity or their doubt about themselves and their hair, and then they basically judge me or rate me accordingly to how they feel about themselves and how they would feel if they had my hair at their age. But ultimately, the real question is, how would you feel if you were 38 and this was your hair? You know, and I don't have any kind of product in it. I didn't sprinkle in any of the Go Fiber. I know I did a video like that per request a while back. But, you know, if you were 38 years old and this is how you looked, yeah, I admit I'm very surprised I have this much hair. I just didn't, I really didn't think I would. I really thought that arbitrarily in my mind, I thought by age 33, I thought I would be a strong Norwood 3, more maybe 3.5. I thought I'd be noticeably balding by 33. That was what I had basically told myself. What's interesting though, on one side of the family, that's pretty much how all men are. By age 30, 33, they're like Norwood 3 Vertex or Norwood 4, noticeably balding, early 30s. But on my mom's side, she has 3 brothers. They're all in their 60s, and they all have their Norwood 1. I mean, if their hair is thinning, I don't even notice it. There's no bald spot or anything. They're all in their 60s. But it's interesting because my mom, she's the one who, half of her heritage goes back to Italy, the other half from Mexico. And the Mexican side came here 100 years ago as well by train in southern Mexico, Michoacan. So I've got southern Italy, southern Mexico. That's my mom's side. And so on my mom's maternal side, I guess we would say on the Mexican side, it's like the genes is causing the men to keep their hair. And I've mentioned this before, how much ethnic background has to do with it. That if you're of Native American descent or Asian descent, you're less likely to have much body hair. You're much likely to even grow a full beard, but you're also less likely to go bald early in life. So that's something definitely I say that we always need to be mindful of. But even then, it doesn't mean all white guys are going to, you know, go bald soon. No, because, and I've referenced this and other people have agreed with me in the comments, Irish men, notably, Irish men go gray soon. They'll start predominantly going gray in their 20s, maybe in their teenage years, but they won't go bald. And I think that's interesting. And I know this is the internet, so what are people? Well, no, I know this guy. His last name's O'Donnell, and he doesn't have any hair on top. And there's this exceptions to the rule. Exceptions to the rule. We don't get caught up on the exception. That actually helps prove my point. If most Irish men don't go bald, but they go gray soon, and there's some that don't, it means that most of the time that's the case. Most of the time, Mexican men may not be able to grow an awesome beard, but they're probably going to have most of their hair all their life. My Mexican grandma, she passed away a couple years ago. I think she was 83, and she had a few white hairs, but other than that, she had long black hair. So it's interesting to keep up with all that. I think it's all relevant as far as determining all these things. But ultimately, I guess we'll end this video with you determining how would you feel if you were 38 and this were your hair? Because I'm actually amazed by it. But the paradox ultimately is, by the time you're 35, you really stop caring about that stuff, because it's a matter of thinking like a boy versus thinking like a respectable man, a confident man. When you're a boy, you think like a boy. You think, my value is based on how I looks. Just like in high school, what kind of shoes you have matter, or your jacket or whatever, all these superficial things matter. And then you turn 18, you get out of college, you get in the real world, you're gonna notice a shift where people actually judge you by all this other stuff. And if you're still playing all those games like a boy, then ultimately you're seen as immature and not a real man. And that kicks into gear right after you turn 18, especially by the time you get into the workforce. You're gonna see how that happens. So, by the time you're 35, you're gonna stop caring anyway. And if you're bald, you're gonna own it. And ultimately, I say women are more attractive to men that they perceive as older anyway, because they think that you're more confident in who you are, unlike the boys who are all worried about their looks. I wanna thank you for watching my video all the way from Italy. We've covered a lot of good stuff on such a short comment. You're very well for age 38. You're Norwood too. That's all he said, and here I've made an 11-minute video on it. I'm honored that you're watching my video, and based on this conversation, hopefully I've said some things that can help other people. I'm honored that you were here all the way from Italy. Comments belong right here.